Hello again and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. This is Prince Magnum and we're coming to you again from Bonne Terre. My wife is operating the camera because this is going to be one of those moments that I'm going to start showing you all some really awesome stuff on how to work on these old cars. What we have here is the original inline 250. Now I haven't picked up the new open element, so we're going to have to reuse the original stock air filter. And for those who've never worked on these before, you're in for a treat. Basically what I have done is I went over to AutoZone in Farmington, not Deloge this time, but Farmington, and got this kit that basically it's like this, and it allows you to basically make your stud, because the stud that went in here to hold the carburetor in place was missing. So we're going to have to install a new one that will be more suitable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try some different sizes, and it might bore you to tears, maybe it won't, I don't know, it depends on how you feel about it. But basically that should just thread right in the center. In most cases with these old engines, they pretty well use the same size. Now the objective is to get it in just far enough where it'll tighten down. You want to get it in just far enough. And that's actually a little big, but we'll make it work. Thread it down a little bit, and then you take your wing nut, right like such, and just like that, that tightens it down. Now you want to make sure this is good and tight. You don't want to get it so tight that it works against the butterfly on the carburetor, and that's actually very secure. Now while we're at it, we're going to do something that you guys have never seen before. Now that I know where that sits, this will allow me to do something very old school. Now I'm going to take this lid back off, okay? And in the old days it was sometimes very difficult to get open element filters for certain vehicles. So what we would do is we would take the lid, flip it upside down, get a feel for it, and cram it back down. Then we would take the looking for that spot where, well, it'll still give me exactly what I'm looking for. And then we thread it back down, and just like that, your snorkel air filter just became a open element. I can get my lovely camera lady, my wife, you can see the open area now, and that will actually draw air, and you just got to tighten it up where it's not too tight, it's good and snug, and just like that. And now I have an open element filter. But just to make sure, because it's kind of sitting a little lopsided, I'm going to take and check for hood clearance. Always check for hood clearance. Okay? And everything seems to be shutting just fine. You don't usually have to worry about hood clearance on these old cars, but too terribly much, but you should check anyways. Okay, awesome. We've got the new air filter on right now, so now she won't be sucking dirt, and that's very important. Okay, at a later date we are going to get an open element filter for it, because they do offer them now. But in the old days, before open element filters were widely available, this was just something that we had to do. And eventually I might even take and clean all this old black off and hit it with some nice looking Ford blue, or maybe a silver. What do you guys think? You know, leave a comment. All right, and you know, so there we have it. There's your open element, there's your filter assembly with an open element style. Okay, here we are inside. Worked on the car today. You got to see the video of that, and it was quite interesting because I started to go into another part and it just wasn't working out. Went to put on a new type of coil on that inline 250, and it just didn't work out. Because I'm going to have to do some adapting there, but we'll get to better performance on a later date. So now you've seen, some different things. In the next video, you guys will get to see it run, and hopefully I have some cool parts to put on. In one of the next videos, I'm gonna start showing you how to make those improvements to your car. Yeah, I just had a lot of fun, cussing the car up one side and down the other. Of course, then it ended up where I ended up having to put it back the way I had it, sort of. It's just one of them things. And that happens sometimes whenever you're working on a project car, and that's one of the things that I hope you'll get to enjoy on my channel is I don't do that stuff that a lot of the big companies, that do the car shows, the DYI car shows and stuff like that, that basically they'll start to, you don't get to see them wrestling with something. And my favorite show, Stacey David's Gears on Speed TV. One of the problems that you see with his show, one of the things that I really wish he would show is how he has to wrestle with it, and it always goes together so nice, but it doesn't always work that way with hot rodding or working on a car, period. Sometimes you end up doing a little bit of cussing, and sometimes you end up having to stop and say, well, I have to put it back the way it was because I have to do it a little bit differently down the road. And, that's just one of them things. So if you enjoyed this, quick little tidbit on things that we used to do to the old cars, and most of us old hot rodders know that stuff. But if you've never seen something like that before, never knew anything about it, give us a like, subscribe to my channel. The sooner you guys start hitting that subscribe button, the sooner we can start doing this full time. I can quit my full-time job, and YouTube can start paying me a little bit of money to do this full time. Because that is my hope, is to be able to do something like this full time. Maybe also show you other stuff that we guys really need to know, because that is my hope. And maybe here in the very near future we'll talk about what exactly happened to poor Project Beauty. It's kind of a sore subject for me. But so that brings us to the end of the very first episode of DYI, budget building hot rodding, and we're using an old Ford Maverick to show you how to do that. And a lot of this stuff can also be translated into modern cars today. So with that being said, if nobody's told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24th. Thank you.